Second. Hello?
Hello, sir. Can you hear and see us?
Yes, I can.
All right, we'll begin starting in just a little bit.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Mhm.
You know, you can only tell somebody so many times, his yes, and then just.
Where's our city manager?
Was there?
Oh, there he is.
Hey, U.S. Air Force. Okay. He looks like he put the cream on his head. Hey, Larry, can you hear me? No.
Sure can.
Okay.
Right.
He's gabbing. Calvin's hugging people. And Larry can't hear me, so.
I can hear you.
You can? Okay, good. I don't blame you. I wouldn't hear me either. Okay. Everybody on the left ready?
Yes.
On the right? Okay. Can we start now? Okay, we're starting. We're starting. Okay, no problem. Huh? Okay. Let's get started. How about an invocation?
Let's pray. Father, it's Monday, the first Monday of the month, so we're here again to do the work of the the people of Mary Esther. We stop at the beginning of it again to take a deep breath and let everything from today go to the wayside and to be grateful for the things you've done for us and the things that you've given us. We focus on you. We know that servanthood is of the highest value in your kingdom. So we just pray that this evening that your presence would guide us through it, that your kingdom would come and that your will would be done. In Jesus' name.
Amen. Thank you very much. I'm calling to order the regular meeting of the City of Mary Esther City Council, May 5th, 2025 at 6 p.m. Would everybody please stand for the pledge? Okey doke. Now I would like to ask the city clerk for a roll call of the city council.
Councilmember Sutton,
Here.
Councilmember Coxwell,
Here.
Councilmember Lawson. Present. Mayor Pro Tem Odor.
Present.
You have a quorum.
Thank you. And Mr. Carter, you can hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'd like to have a motion to add Mr. Carter to our meeting tonight.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, I have a first. Got a second? Okay, let's go ahead and vote unless there's discussion on it.
Who was the second on that?
Okey doke. Yeah, Richard. Or Susan. You second? Richard.
Microphone.
Okay.
Yeah,
Mike?
please speak into the mic.
Okay, it's unanimous. Thank you. Okay, Larry, you're involved, all right?
Thank you.
Okay, item number 5 is approval of tonight's agenda. Does anybody wish to make any changes to it? If not, do I have a motion to approve?
I'll make that motion.
I'll
Okay,
second.
I have a first and a second. Let's go ahead and vote, please. How do you vote, Mr. Carter?
Affirmative.
Okay. So it's unanimous. Thank you. Special presentations, yard of the month. We got 2 yard of the months.
Decided to close it on me. 1 second.
Okay.
I only got one. The agenda only shows one.
Is it just one?
You added the second one.
Yeah.
So
the
I
second
added
one.
to the
Or,
minutes.
Susan's. Okay. Yeah. There's 2 of them, right? Okay. Just show the first one or show whatever you do.
It wants to open.
I just
There we
went by one. Yeah, this is the one on,
No, Emery.
that's the one on, no,
Yep.
Bryan Circle, right? No. Okay. That's the other one. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. It's on the top there. This is the one on Bryan Circle. I think that's Dwayne Keck's old house. Yeah, and it look, I mean, new owner. There's a ghost there though. But anyway, in any case, I took a picture of it. Susan found it. It looks great. This one, does anybody wish to speak on this one? Is this a resident picked it or?
We took it, a resident submitted it.
Okay. Okay. So, discussion, what do you guys want to do?
I like all the flowers and
That one?
yeah.
Oh, can you zoom in on it, the flowers? Oh, yeah. That looks nice. The other one had flowers too, but,
Yeah,
but
they both look
this
good.
looks nice too. Okay. All right. Let's go to the other one and zoom in on those flowers. That are to the left.
Yep.
Not the side. Okay. Anyway. Yeah, they had some, yeah. Okay. The first one looked pretty nice. I mean,
With a citizen submitting the first one, I'd go with the first one.
okay. Is that a motion? Okay.
motion.
Do we have a second on that motion? Okay, we have a second. Let's go ahead and vote. Mr. Carter, did you see the pictures at all?
Yes, I agree with the nomination of Councilman Sutton.
Okay, thank you. Push the button. All right. April,
I know there's
thank you. And we're unanimous. Okay, the first one will be Yard of the Month and do a packet and I'll, oh, shoot. I have to do it tomorrow because I'm leaving on Wednesday and we'll be back to the end of the month. Okay, tomorrow we're doing Yard of the Month. All right, we're good. Consent agenda, item number.
Point of order, if you can't make it,
Oh,
I would love to finally get to do something as mayor pro tem. So
okay. I will not be able to make it. I will not blow it off. That's rude, but I will not be able to make it. Oh, I'll bring the old sign here and give it to him because I know where it is, I think, at that yard. So I'll find it.
Are you signing the certificate as well then? Or is?
Yeah, he can do everything. Yeah, let him work for it. Okay. Getting the big dollars. All right. So we're good on that and I'll bring you the sign in the morning, not tonight. Okay. Consent agenda. Is everybody happy with the consent agenda? Does anybody wish to make any changes to consent agenda? If not, do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I'll make that motion.
Okay, I have a first and I have a second. Let's go ahead and vote. Mr. Carter, how do you vote on a consent agenda?
Yes,
Okay, thank you. That's unanimous. Thank you very much. And item 8, citizens who have requested to be placed on the agenda. I have none scheduled. Item number 9 is public comment, non-agenda items. Is anybody out there wish to make a comment for 3 minutes on a non-agenda item? Not today. Go ahead.
Jeff Wagner, Ocean City Right Fire Control District. As you may or may not know, the Okaloosa County has put out a RFP for a contract for fire services for Dorcas Fire Control District. Our agency is considering submitting a proposal for that contract. We're not 100% convinced that we want to do it yet, but we're in the process. The RFP closes on May 20th. So part of that packet is reference letters. So I was wondering if the council would be willing to provide us a reference letter for that RFP.
I would support that if the rest of the council agrees.
Hayward, let's put the legal thing in there first. Is that okay for us to do that?
Sign it.
Well, normally what would happen is if you as a council decided to do a reference letter, you would authorize either city manager or the mayor to sign it on behalf of the city
That works.
and just say,
Mhm.
whatever,
But it's okay to do that with a sister city. There's no legality saying we shouldn't do it.
No.
Okay, that's all I'm asking.
Yeah.
Okay,
So we're gonna do one letter and we'll all sign it?
we'll have the mayor
Or
sign
have
it and
the mayor and city manager.
Well, you can either direct the city manager to sign it, or you can have direct the mayor to sign it. It's kind of like a proclamation,
Right.
you authorize him to do it.
I would sign it. Yeah, I mean,
Signs it on behalf.
okay.
Sure.
what would help make that decision better? Not that they're both not, to me, equally, would it be more impressive that the mayor?
I don't know that it makes a difference. I'm not sure how thoroughly they look at those
So-
packets.
and he signs the mayor.
I think it would be fine.
Okay.
I may, if you guys, anybody would be willing, I may have them reach out to you if they have questions about the service that we provide to you guys.
Why don't you give it to our proclamation person? Would you take care of that? And then
Understood.
figure out what you want to do and we'll do it.
Do-
Okay?
do-
I
Sounds
mean,
good.
you all in agreement with that?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah,
great.
I mean,
Mr.
you
Carter?
said, it can just, it'll be.
Yes, I think it's a marvelous idea.
Okay. I'm sorry, Larry, I left you out.
You get it ready,
I
just send it.
apologize.
That way, if anybody's got a issue or wants to change any of the language, we got that input.
Okay?
Yep, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Unfinished business? Believe it or not, we have none. 11 is new business, is proposed fiscal year 2026 budget calendar.
Heather Day, Finance Director.
Is
Um,
the
I don't think the
microphone on? I don't think the
microphone-
microphone's on. Oh, it is.
yeah, I'm just,
Okay.
can you hear me?
Speak.
There you go.
Yeah, I guess, yeah, Mr. Carter can't hear if it's not.
Kind of like we're your
Okay.
kids.
Okay, so we've attached the proposed budget calendar for the fiscal 2026 budget year. And it's up here on the screen. We have, the first public hearing is, September 3rd, and then the second one is September 22nd. Is everybody okay with that? We have to work around the school district and the county's, meetings. So we're kind of limited in what we can do. Are y'all,
Has
are you
everybody,
gonna be out that day or any of those days?
has everybody looked at this?
Is there a chance to move the September 22nd meeting?
There's not, I may be able to move it a tad. What can you do?
That's my 50th birthday and I really would prefer not to come in because I really don't want to be sober that day, but, so.
So what's the difference?
Gonna have the mayor pro tem take over.
Okay, Mayor Pro Tem's taking over.
Let me,
All right.
let me look real quick.
Can we work on that,
See.
Heather?
I may or may not be able to come in, but yeah,
No, that's,
there should be a quorum.
that's legitimate. No, it's important stuff. We should all be here.
The other one I had a question on is that September 3rd is a Wednesday.
Mhm.
I don't know if everyone realized that because normally we do Mondays and Mondays and,
Says the
or Tuesday
Labor Day
instead of,
weekend.
so.
Yeah.
No, I'm all for that. I just want to make sure.
Wednesday's okay with you?
Yeah, I just noticed that
Yeah.
looking at you right, it's a holiday that,
And then the
So-
county has their meeting on the 4th, so we
Okay.
had to do it that day.
So that's,
So on, let's see, the second public hearing, I could look and see if we can move it like a day. I could probably do, we might be able to do the 23rd, but that is a Tuesday.
does the county have anything?
Uh,
Cause they,
The county is.
no, they don't.
school.
But if you're trying to keep your meetings usually on a Monday,
Yeah, but that,
can't do
we're doing
Saturday.
Wednesdays, so it, you know, I don't.
That'll probably be the only
Well,
agenda item.
we would have a quorum if you.
Yeah,
Oh.
if trying to work around schedules, that's fine. I mean, if we keep it that way.
My question is,
Should be at the
what
first
harm
one.
is there to move it one day?
Change
If
that.
nobody really,
As long as everybody can make it on the 23rd and you're
Yeah.
comfortable with the 23rd, then
why don't we do it the 23rd? Does anybody have a problem with the 23rd?
Not that I know.
It's fine by me.
Okay,
as of today, my calendar.
well, that
Good,
can
yeah.
change between now and September. We're talking few months. Okay, so make the change. Everybody happy with the other dates?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Do you want us to vote on it or,
Yes, please.
okay, do I have a motion to approve this with that one change?
I'll make that motion.
I have a first.
I'll second.
I have a second. Let's go ahead and vote. Mr. Carter, how do you vote?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, this button's, there we go.
All right,
Yeah,
we're good now.
sticky today.
We're unanimous. Thank you. And subject to change, obviously, because, who knows what's going to happen. It's way out there. All right,
Thank you.
11.2 is proposed mid-year budget amendment.
Good evening, council. I'm Sean Lindsay, Director of Public Works. I know Heather's on this agenda item, but she says it's because of my fault I need to present it.
You want more money, right?
There's some kind of rule. Not really, sort of.
Sort of.
So we need to pass a resolution to a mid-year budget amendment, and there's a couple of reasons. One reason is that we allocated 160,000 for Azalea Park last year, and we didn't get to spend it. And so we need to bring forward about 105,000 of that money to this year to cover the expenses that we'll have this year. Another thing is that we need to readjust some line items, salaries and other line items, and also to to take money from parks where we were going to do more work in different parks, and now we're going to put that money toward, in this recommendation, towards the engineering for the boulevard. And so that's the gist of the mid-year change.
Any discussion on that? No? Okay. Mr. Carter, got any discussion on that? Don't want to leave you out.
Thank you. I assume the city manager and Heather are good with this?
Yes, sir.
He's happy.
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. Do we have a motion to approve this budget amendment?
Mayor.
Oh. Okay, I'm
resolution.
sorry. City clerk.
Right. Resolution 25-06, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Mary Esther, Florida, providing for an increase in the general fund expense budget in the amount of $105,790.42 and providing for an effective date of May 5th, 2025.
Thank you. Now, do I have a motion to approve Resolution 25-06, approving a mid-year budget amendment? Okay, Mr. Oder and Mr. Lawson. Okay, let's go ahead and vote. Mr. Carter,
Yeah.
how do you vote?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And we're unanimous. Thank you. You gonna stand up here for the next one?
I think so. Much.
Okay. 11.3, Talcon change order number 2.
Good evening, Council. I'm Sean Lindsay, Director of Public Works. Before you is the Talcon change order number 2. This change order is kind of the last change order to finish everything out. It does 3 things. The change order includes adjusting the contract work line item quantities to match the final installed measurements. As you know, this was a line item bid, and so you're paid based on how much you actually do. So that's the final adjustment there. It decreases the current contract amount by $242,100 due to adjustments in the line item quantities from the total contract amount. And number 3, it changes the contract time of substantial completion to 810 days with April 9th, 2025 as the substantial completion date and final payment date of 840 days, which is May 9th, 2025. This change order it's a reduction in price of total contract amount of $242,100. But I remind council that we took parts of that off and we
Move it
to raise pond.
Raise Pond, yeah, I remember that.
So staff recommends approval of change order number 2 with the Talcon Group LLC and to authorize the mayor to sign.
Okay.
Any questions
Discussion?
for me?
Anybody want to discuss that? Okay. You have anything to read this time? Okay. All right. Do I have, Mr. Carter, you want to say anything?
No, sir, he explained my question.
Okay, thank you. Do I have a motion to approve change order number 2 with Talcon Group LLC?
Also make that motion.
Okay,
I'll second.
first, and I have a second. Let's go ahead and vote. How do you vote, Mr. Carter?
Yes.
And we're unanimous. Thank you. 11.4 is award of construction engineer and inspection services for Azalea Neighborhood Infrastructure Improvements.
Good evening, council. I'm Sean Lindsay, Director of Public Works.
Who are you again?
Sean Lindsay, Director of
Okay.
Public Works. I feel like we're getting past this point, but I don't know what else to say. Or Dylan get mad at
If you're
me.
staying here after we adjourn, that's up to you.
Okay,
Sean, know that I appreciate every single time you do that.
I appreciate that too. I'm glad I'm helping out. So I'd like to do my part, but explaining this, I wanted to say that, things in Springdale didn't go that smoothly. And I was tasked to try to find out why, and then to fix that problem the best I could. And one of the things I discovered is that we didn't budget for enough time. We already signed a task order with Jacobs to do the CI work as well as the design and that. But I went back to Jacobs. I said, how much time do you really need to do this task order well, to make sure that we have enough supervision to where we could, find problems before they happen, hopefully, or to mitigate these problems as quickly as possible, so the residents could have a better project, a smoother transition, because it's a big construction job ahead. There's a lot of work in backyards even, so that's even making it a little bit more difficult, because all the sewer lines on Azalea are pretty much in the side backyards of all the homes. During this time, I've had to get all those easements. We don't have them all, but we have most of them, and we feel like we can move forward at this point. One of the things I did in that is I checked with other firms that we've already pre-qualified on there, and I got prices from them and looked at that and looked at their qualifications. They're all very well qualified to do it as well. And I have those in your packet as well for your consideration. Another thing that I looked at is that a lot of times when you have a federal project, you have a different design firm than CEI firm. And that gives you a greater check and balance because you have a independent design firm and a different CEI firm. That's in CI, forgive me, I use acronyms, but that's construction engineering inspection. So that's the field engineering that takes place and the inspections that take place to make sure you're getting a good product. And I think that that's a good balance, particularly for very large federal projects. You have to do it, a lot of them. But when I looked at that, I thought that was unfair to do that in the middle of a project. And so we started out with Jacobs as design and CI firm. And I recommend that we approve Jacobs to continue that, but at 20 hours per week of supervision. And it's stated here in this packet. Any questions for me on that?
Yes, I have several.
Sure.
Why was the CPH bid so dramatically higher?
I think because they don't have a local office, so they have to bring people from very far away.
Okay, and on the Jacobs, will it be the same people that did Springdale?
I don't know exactly. I think it's going to be some different people. I don't know if Mike can speak to that or not. It's a group effort.
Will it still be the same crew that did Springdale?
If you're gonna respond, please on the mic.
Hi, Mike Creel, Jacobs Engineering out of Pensacola. Since I don't know who that was, I can't responsibly answer your question. If I knew who it was, I could tell you, but I don't know. I could find out and let you know. It'll be a group effort out of the Pensacola office. I'll be one of the people as well as Kevin and a few others.
I would like to make certain that the lines of communication are definitely increased on this project versus the Springdale because I don't want another Springdale. I mean, Azalea is a smaller, scale, obviously, but the Springdale definitely it was a challenge, and I'd rather definitely head off any problems beforehand before we get into the weeds. And if an issue arises, I mean, obviously things come up that are unexpected. I would expect that Sean and our city manager are notified immediately versus months after the fact.
Certainly. Understood. And I agree with you. That's why this is a 5-day-a-week
Mhm.
CEI versus
You
before.
know what she's talking about when she said last
I
time.
believe the driveways, I'm sure, is what this
Well,
probably.
it just took forever
Sure.
for you guys to admit and, to get things going, and was unacceptable, but we stuck
Agreed.
with it back then, and we just
Agreed.
don't want it to happen again.
In my experience, yes, the check and balance is key, both in the military and out of the military. Sometimes you can't see the trees because the forest is in the way. So yeah, even my own personally, I have my 2 college graduate sons. Hey, I think I look at this. Give me your opinion. So it's always good to have, that's the smart way to do this because
Certainly.
sometimes, and again, everybody makes mistakes. I mean, I put an extra comma in a digit one time and went from 100,000 to $1 million plus. That whoa, wait a minute. Fortunately, someone else caught it, and the check. I highlighted that check and balance. I thought that was key.
Sure.
That was my point.
Understood.
Well, I think, we've renewed our contract with Jacobs with the faith that that was one of the stipulations. I don't think hashing it out again is necessary. I think they know that that's what we're really requiring is that. So let's just get on with Azalea and have it be a much smoother ride. That would be really appreciative.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Carter, you have something?
No, sir, I'm good.
Okay.
I have one final question for Sean Lindsay. So out of the 3 companies, you feel confident working with Jacobs for this project moving forward?
Yes, I do. And the reason I do is because I asked a question. I said, we reviewed all the mistakes of Springdale. I said, what's it going to take for you not to make these mistakes? How much supervision do you need? And they came up with this half a day, 5 days a week, half a day on average. Some weeks it's going to be raining and think we're going to be working, and some days I'll probably be there all day. But before we only had a half a day a week. Now we're getting a half a day, 5 days a week. And so I don't think that. I think a lot of the problems would have been caught with this level of supervision. I don't think Jacobs would have had those problems before if they had that. I think there's always going to be problems in a project this big. with
Yeah.
so many unknown variables. But I think that having, someone from the engineering staff there half a day during during that whole process of this is for like 18 months project, during the heavy construction is going to be essential to
Yeah.
having good communication with the residents, good communication with us as a staff, and so that we can find those problems as early as possible and take care of them.
With a community as old as, Azalea, I'm looking forward to a great relationship with all parties. And that also includes increased communication with the citizens that are living through that construction. But the communication is going to be key for the city to communicate with Jacob, the citizens, and vice versa for all. So thank you for your insight on that.
Thank you. Any other questions for me?
Anybody else? Okay, do I have a motion to approve Amendment 1 to Task Order 2022-01 with Jacobs Engineering for a total cost not to exceed $390,616?
I make that motion.
Okay, have a first?
Second.
Have a second. Any more discussion? Let's go ahead and vote. Mr. Carter, how do you vote?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, and this thing is.
And we're unanimous on that. All right, thank you. Moving on to 11.5 is a direction regarding 911 East Miracle Strip Private Lift Station. Hey, Sean.
Good evening, council. I'm Sean Lindsay. I'm the Director of Public Works.
Welcome.
This one, I want to read a little bit from the packet so I can get this correctly. The city has been collaborating with the owners of the users of the private lift station 911 East Miracle Strip to conduct the required triennial inspection and certification by a licensed engineer. I actually met with each of them and talked about that. They're not in agreement to do that triennial inspection or to maintain the lift station, was the gist of it. So in the end, we were at a passe. They didn't want to do the triennial inspection, and it is requirement of the City of Mary Esther that they do that, and that they have a working private lift station. So that being said, we started looking at, and I asked Jacobs to look at what would it take to have them on individual grinder pumps, because they don't want to work together to maintain that lift station. And we did a study 2 or 3 years ago. Barge did a study on the cost of rehabbing that lift station and felt like the grinder pumps was a cheaper and better alternative at the time. Jacobs looked at that again and said, yeah, that is a better alternative. And so they were out there actually, getting ready to get me a task order to design it and to see what that would cost. And during that time, they found the lift station's not working and hasn't been working for a month. And so with that being a major environmental issue, we notified the health department. They notified DEP. And hopefully the DEP is working with those residents to correct that issue. But in the meantime, we have this discussion. Several properties, 2 in the county, 2 in Mary Esther. So understand that these are not just city properties, these are county and city properties on the same private lift station. Connect to the city's sewer line via a single, privately owned lift station. Crucially, all connected property owners currently share joint responsibility for lift stations maintenance, repairs, and required triennial reporting. Currently shared obligations and future options. Shared responsibility. All users are jointly responsible for maintaining and ensuring regulatory compliance of the private lift station. Long-term solution. Options involve rehabilitating the shared lift station or installing individual grinder pumps at each property. Cost consideration. Grinder pumps are estimated at $15,000 to $27,000 each. Jacobs Engineering is preparing design quotes, and they're trying to firm up those numbers. The significant cost of long-term solution may lead property owners to seek financial assistance, potentially via a special assessment. Staff requests City Council's direction on whether to proceed with exploring these financial avenues. Specifically, number 1, does the council want staff to investigate the feasibility and structure of a potential financing option, including special assessment for these sewer improvements that benefit properties both inside and outside of the city? And 2, if exploration is desired, should staff evaluate specific conditions, such as the possibility of requiring voluntary annexation for the county residents seeking city financial assistance as part of the options presented back to the council?
Okay, you done?
Yes, I just have a recommendation, but that's
Last
what we're
question.
asking. Sure.
This is the properties at the end of Mary Esther, right? Where they're putting that new RV place in?
The property's right next to that.
And the RV place got annexed by Fort Walton Beach, correct?
Yes, it did.
So they're going to have water sewer to Fort Walton Beach or Mary Esther? The RV place
To Fort Walton Beach.
to Fort Walton. Okay, as the two county places, is Fort Walton Beach interested in them also?
No.
They're not. So they don't want to take over their sewer problem.
They're in the same situation as I am. So the first thing I did is I called the county. I said, these are your two county residents. I said, I'm looking for options for our city residents to come on sewer. Those are the ones we need to provide sewer. I don't think we're under any obligation that I could find or Hayward could find to provide county residents with sewer and water services. And so the county said, we don't have anything in an area. It'd be impossible for us to service those two residents without major infrastructure. And they also informed me that it's in the Fort Walton Beach's growth plan, those two residences. When I called Fort Walton Beach, they'd be in the same situation that we are. They'd have to be annexed. Then they'd have to do grinder pumps and run it about the same distance.
Yeah, because they're going to that RV place.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I would recommend that the two county properties, if they'd like financial assistance, the only way to get that from the city of Mary Esther would to be annexed, or they can seek the annexation from Fort Walton to be annexed there to, with maybe some financial assistance. But yeah, I mean, ultimately, these properties do need to pay for this, whether it's short-term, long-term, because I don't want to put this on our citizens to eat this type of cost.
Pay for county.
Our recommendation is the lift station must be returned to working order and operate within the FDP requirements. A triennial report must also be provided to the city within 90 days, showing the lift station has been repaired and is operational. Failure of the property owners to comply may result in termination of water services. Staff is requesting council direction on potential financing with any stipulated requirements such as voluntary annexation. But what we plan on doing after council deliberates on this is sending a letter, letting them know that, hey, 90 days from now, you need to make a decision to either rehab your current lift station and send us a triennial report showing that it's operational, or that you need to make other plans because we'll have to cut off your water because you don't have a working private lift station right next to City of Mary Esther.
Waterfront properties.
Yes, sir.
And they don't want to do the triennial inspection. They're just telling you we don't want to do that.
That's correct.
Even though it's required.
So the property owner where the lift station's on
I don't want to do a lot of things.
doesn't feel like he should have to maintain it. And then the two property owners next to him don't feel like it's his problem because it's on his property. So, and the history of it is that they were all owned by one person, and that person had family members and friends that probably lived there and maintained it. And then when he passed on, he sold it to different people, and there was no legal agreement to who has to maintain it. And so what I do understand has been going on is that they change out every now and then who pays the electrical bill.
So that's good.
Okay, that's their problem, not the city's.
Yeah.
That's right.
So
Mayor?
your recommendation is to do the letter in 90 days?
Do a letter, and if they don't come to a consensus, then we will need to cut their water off in 90 days. and
Would
try to
that wake them up, you think?
I would hope so. And they have different options. I mean, if they fix the lift station, it may not be that much money to fix it and get us a triennial report saying it's good, then that's fine. If whether they work together or one individual does it, it doesn't matter to us. It's none of our business. We just need the triennial report showing that it's working so we can keep giving them water. And then the next thing they could do is they could do their own grinder pumps. And since the triennial inspection said that grinder pump's working, and they do that on their own. And the third option is what I think city council, from what I've heard, might be open to, is that they request to be annexed and that we do some kind of special assessment to bring that cost over 10 or 15-year payments to them so that it'd be easier financially.
Okay.
Unless I hear something different. That's what I got.
The question I have, it's two parts, one for our attorney and one for you, Sean. This voluntary annexation, okay? Make sure I understand exactly. So they would tell us, you can have this now, right? They're voluntarily giving this land and this lift station to the city? Is that what I'm understanding?
No,
I'm sorry. I'm asking here, please.
Sure. So we're not asking for the lift station. We don't want to be responsible for it. If they are annexed, then we would propose to put in grinder pumps for each individual house.
Okay.
They would be responsible for the grinder pumps. but we could do a special assessment over a period of time for them to pay us back for that initial capital cost. They would still have a lift station on their property, and it'd still be up to them to demolish it, or if they ever want to keep it or rehab it, they could still do that, but
All right,
But
I
that-
just want to make sure I understood what
Yes.
annexing to me means. We now control it and it is ours.
And
Yeah, they would just annex into since Mary Esther
That'd
doesn't
be-
do a lot of annexing.
Right.
They would just become citizens of Mary Esther. Now they would be on our tax rolls. We're already providing service, so that type of stuff. So they'd be the ones who are outside of Mary Esther's jurisdiction, the two county properties would now be subject to our code requirements and all that stuff. I think the idea is we decommission the lift station, put them on grinder pumps, and there's a whole process under the law on how you do notify, pass a resolution, and all that kind of stuff when you're doing a special assessment. Usually it's for infrastructure projects like this that benefit a very, kind of a small niche group. And you're saying, similar to what Miss Councilmember Sutton said, we're not going to pass this along. This infrastructure only benefits these property owners, therefore, and you can't spread it out over 10, 20 years based on what it is, and they just kind of pay it, and it'll flow with the land. That way, if the property's sold, it's just part of it.
But they're gonna have to pay Mary Esther City taxes.
Yeah, they would be they pay ad valorem to the city. So I mean, both Sean, or all three of us, Sean and Jared and I talked about it. I mean, if they're not willing to and they want to dig their heels in, I don't know what the solution is going to be, because they're being, they're not maintaining the lift station. That's why I said, we'll call for Walt. Maybe they want to go
The-
there.
Yeah.
For me, if they don't want to work with the city or with Mary Esther or Fort Walton, then we cut the water off. I mean, if the private lift station is not in compliance, I mean, we cut it off, because, I mean, it's a private lift station for a reason. And I have no problem helping them with the cost, because that is a great cost to an individual. But basically, Mary Esther would be the bank for them. So there has to be something in it for us to be able to offset that cost for them.
Mayor, I'm sorry, I
Right.
mean,
Go ahead, your turn.
yeah, when I heard the term financial assistance, can can that be quantified? So we know what we're talking about when we say financial assistance. Second part, if it's a 90-day ticking clock, are there going to be milestones? Because I hate for us to get to the 89th day, and I assume there's going to be a mechanism of how they're notified in writing, that they understand the terms, whatever they decide to do, that the decision is somehow notarized, that these are the options, that they have to decide what they're going to do. So at the end of the day, we don't look like the bad guy turning the water off and you didn't give us notice. I didn't know, to take all the assumptions off the table. It may cause us a little more work on our side as far as following up with them, but I like for them to understand what the consequences are. So as that clock ticks at the 45-day mark, the 50-day mark, 60-day mark, so they understand that if we get to the 89th day, on the 90th day, your water is going to be turned off. So they have every opportunity to rectify the problem. And if they do make some progress, what will the city response to that? Is it full compliance, not half, not third, not, so it's almost like when you serve notice on evictions, if the landlord tend to make some sort of concessions, like the clock resets itself. So I agree with Councilman Sutton that, at the end of the day, they have to somehow, now they need to decide what they're going to do. So they start working towards that. But the city cannot be liable for the contamination, because will Big Brother come after us based upon what we do? Because if that area gets contaminated, well, what did the city do? So I want our options very clear, and the two homeowners fully understand, whatever it's affidavits or whatever you want to call it, with some sort of mechanism showing that we've done everything we possibly could do to support them. And as far as long-term, and I agree, it is a big price, but this problem is not new. So you can't claim ignorance,
Years.
and so I have sympathy for them, but at the end of the day, you're a homeowner, you own it. So you show me that you're concerned about your property. The city can't be more concerned about what's going on there than we do. So
Yeah.
that's my concern. Thank you.
That was the point I was gonna make that he brought up. This isn't the first time, and it's been 3 years that not brought up. So they've had 3 years to figure out what to do, and knowing that we weren't really willing to take it over in the condition it's in. So,
I got one quick question. What's their fire assessment? Those two county houses, does the city of Mary Esther cover them just because they're right?
Hey, Jeff.
I'm just curious, because are we providing fire service already to these
I'll,
people?
I'll look on the map while I'm sitting here. There's sort of when the city of Fort Walton just annexed the properties around there, we probably did the same thing you guys did. Nobody knew that existed the way it did sort of in the
Right.
county, unincorporated to anything. So I'll look at the map while I'm sitting here. They're sort of in no man's land. So I'll see who's the first on the run card for that property and let you know. Jeff Wagner, Ocean City Rat Fire Control District. Sorry. I like to do it on the backside, do my own thing.
Bernie?
And my other half of that question, okay, this says voluntary annexation. What, and this is for the lawyer, is there an involuntary option?
Oh, boy.
There is, usually what you'll see is if you have like enclaves, so say everything around it and maybe like a donut hole, something's, the city's kind of, and you got this one property, you can do a involuntary annexation. And that's usually pretty easy, but by and large, if somebody doesn't want to be annexed, then it's very difficult for a city to annex. So, it's not one of those where cities can kind of just say, hey, we're bigger and badder than you and we're going to come pull you in. So most annexations that you see for Fort Walton Beach is probably going to be the same way. Look, if you don't want to be in, we're not going to force you in because it's a very high bar to force an annexation. But if they were an enclave in the sense, if we were completely surrounding them, say we had the RV park in the city limits and we found out that this enclave was there, then that's something that you could do through an involuntary, even if they wanted to fight tooth and nail. The county probably wouldn't care. They may say, we don't want it, but, it makes sense. So absent that, because you got Fort Walton Beach on one side, us on the other, the chances you can involuntary annex them are probably a lot lower.
Okay.
And I mean, the idea is like, hey, kind of pick your poison. If you want to be in Fort Walton Beach, then go annex into Fort Walton Beach. If you want to be in Mary Esther, then come on in. We can provide those services.
The reason I bring it up, I know Pensacola's had to do this before, and I know Fort Walton Beach has done this before. And people weren't happy about it, but, oh, well, my point being, as Councilman Sutton talks about, I don't want to have a spill down there and it runs into my yard or my area or stuff. So if we get, and again, as far as I'm sure, we need to play hardball.
Yeah.
Either you do this or guys, darn it,
We'll get the consent order.
Guess what?
We'll
We
get
will
another
kick you
consent
out and
order.
we will take it over.
Okay, there's 3 properties, right? Or is it one,
There's
Two
4
and two.
properties, three property owners.
3 property owners? So of the 4 properties, again, how many are county?
2,
2, and then 2 are Mary Esther.
yes.
They are, so we can't say to the Mary Esther ones, like, this is what you're doing. And I know it's all on one lift station. If the other 2 are just sitting there, I mean, where's our leverage in there that they are already residents?
Correct me if I'm wrong, maybe Hayward, but I think what we're planning on doing is sending even the city resident a letter and saying you have 90 days to bring your lift station up, or we'll have to cut your water off.
Okay.
But I think that we should supply the lift station and do the special assessment.
This-
Sorry, the grinder pump.
Does the one owner, you said one owner owns 2 properties?
Yes.
Are those the 2 in the county?
No, it's one in the city.
They're both in the city.
Yes, and he's expressed interest in not living there anymore and tearing the house down. So that would be another layer of confusion. But he's an elderly gentleman that is thinking about leaving.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, my goodness.
I'll be here, interested to hear what the city manager,
Yeah.
you've been
Sure.
trying to, go ahead, please.
So, no, you're fine. Just to answer Councilmember Carter's question first too, on the special assessment. At the end of the day, that will be up to council. What we would likely do is get the cost of the project. And then it would come down to whether or not we want to charge market rate, or if there's a lower rate, I'll defer to Hayward on if there's some parameters there. But the whole idea behind it is Hayward mentioned was, if you need our support, one of our conditions may be that you need to annex to get that support. Now, when it comes to the property that's already in the city limits, it would be up to the property owner if they wanted to pay for that assessment outright, or if they wanted to pay the costs upfront and not be assessed, that's fine. If all the property owners said, we're going to get the lift station repaired and we're going to have our own basically HOA to pay for those costs, they could do that as well. And I don't remember which councilman brought it up, but I mean, this was discussed a few years back. And so it's not a surprise. It was a matter of when. One of the things that we've tried to do on our end is express to them that this is not our lift station. And so if there are spills, we don't control the sewer at their properties, and whether or not their private lift station is up to par and operating as intended. And so, Sean's recommendation was basically, we've gone several years now. We know there's a problem. And so for us to allow that problem to continue, for us to contribute to it by providing you water is probably not the most responsible thing.
So I would like to recommend that we, for one, follow, obviously, Hayward's advice, and also coordinate with DEP, because we don't want to get ourselves in a situation to where this becomes our issue because of a violation. But we do make it very clear, if we do pay, if we do offer them to help pay for the grinders in place and offer like a finance program, I don't feel like the city should necessarily make money off of that, but recoup any funds to go for that. I mean, we're not trying to overcharge a citizen or anything like that, but
We have to do with legal and we have to.
right, but but we should recoup any expenses that are
That the city has.
that the city has for these properties for this. And we also need to figure out the full legal recourse if they just absolutely say no to every proposal. I mean, at that point, we need to make certain that we don't have any responsibilities with DEP, because I don't want to see a 6-figure fine from DEP because of their property.
Schroeder? Two questions. And one I don't think you can honestly answer, but what is your opinion of DEP coming down on them? I mean, I'm talking federal level. Have you ever heard of DEP coming down and telling them involuntary? I mean, because the federal government's got a lot more power than we do.
So the steps I already took was I called the health department and I made sure that we're not responsible for any leaks, and they confirmed that we're not. And they said the duties of that is transferring from health department over to DEP.
Okay.
They notified DEP, got back to me, and said, we still don't think you're responsible for anything at a private lift station. And they have many of these going on throughout the county, that we're not alone, that this has happened multiple times recently. And so I imagine that DEP is reaching out to them to try to get a correction as well, but
I would hope so.
I'm not in that loop because they don't have to notify me.
The other one, I agree with Mr. Carter. My concern is, if I'm hearing correctly, that the city will help finance this or bankroll this or whatever. No, this is, you get a speeding ticket and you get a problem, that's your problem. That it's not me, Now you want to go create a GoFundMe page or whatever, and that's fine. But as far as I'm concerned, we don't need to be in the bankrolling business. And especially if you tell me I'm going to throw a number, if I'm going to spend $50,000, but it's going to be value added of $250,000 for the rest of the city, I'll invest that money. But if you're asking me for $50,000 for only 2 properties that I don't know, that's not helping. I don't like that option. That's all I got. Thank you.
I said, there's a process, and there's a resolution, you gotta get the plans, you gotta get the preliminary assessments. It's all couched under, I was looking at chapter 170 Florida statutes. So it talks about how you determine the assessment. Usually it's based on the square. So like if you were doing a sidewalk or some sort of road, dealing with gutters, then you base it on the size of the property for the benefit. So, a smaller property, they're gonna pay, but they're not gonna pay as much as a larger property who has a lot more frontage on that same, sidewalk slash drive. But there is a mechanism to do it if the council decided it wanted to go that route. I think that's kind of the, hey, if Fort Walton Beach isn't going to do it for you and you want to come into the city, then this may be an option. But I think we need to let them know pretty quickly if you don't want, if you're not interested in doing that, is that, hey, you either make the decision to come in and then we can work on or you decide not to and then we move forward.
So-
And Mayor and Council,
Mayor?
that's why we intentionally use the word explore, because at the end of the day, we don't have these numbers. And so if council says, yes, we're open to it, but we want the city to be made whole, we want to charge, market interest rate, whatever that is, we can work on that as we go down the road. But if the council said, no, we're not open to this type of arrangement, then we won't even bring it up.
So Councilmember Oder did bring up a good point about not financing this because, I mean, as a homeowner, if a hurricane blows your roof off, the city's not going to give you a finance option to replace it. And this is kind of the cost of home ownership. And I mean, I do agree that I don't know that we want our city to start bankrolling basically the cost of home ownership. And this is a legitimate cost for home ownership.
Mayor?
Okay, Mr. Carter?
Yes, about that 90-day, we should think about what if on the 89th day they want an extension. So not that we would advertise, but we should think about if would we entertain an extension and under what rules would we do that? So
But
I'm very
one thing I
concerned how. Go ahead, sir.
Just real quick about that. All we're asking that they got 90 days to make their mind up if they want to fix it or not. Is that correct?
Yes.
And if they say, no, we're not going to do it after 3 months, pretty much they're not going to do it and then turn the water off. But if they say, they should be able to give you an answer within a week of that we're good to go. I would think, especially if you tell them you're going to turn the water off in 90 days. This is just a decision on their part. It's not construction or anything.
And keep in mind,
I agree.
If they decide, on the 89th day, okay, now we want to talk about being annexed in, the Mary Esther doesn't have to annex them in. You can say, look, that window has now closed. Thank you for playing.
Thank you, Hayward.
Figure out, some other method to deal with it. So, I mean, it's voluntary. It's got to be reciprocal. Mary Esther wants to annex you in. We can provide the services. We want you, or you don't have to. I mean, they can go to Fort Walton Beach or whatever. So, I will say if you decide to do the assessment type of route, we will need to get the pricing. We'll need to start looking through the statute because there's resolutions that have to be drafted that come before you, all those types of things.
But let's see what they say about the 90-day letter first. That's the first step, correct? I'm sorry, Mr. Carter, I cut you off. I apologize.
No problem. I understand it's just them to decide, but human nature, their track record has not impressed me that they really want to be proactive about this problem.
That's
So
true.
if they say, well, on the 85th day, we're still thinking about it. Can we get more time to decide? I think we should entertain, if they should do that. I'm not saying that they would, what would our decision? And I like Hayward's response, but sometimes, people are trying to throw a Hail Mary, trying to stall just because they can, not because they're sincere. So I'm a little concerned because of such non-traction on a very sensitive issue that now, they still haven't, I mean, based upon what Sean has shared so far, I'd be down to Lowe's right now trying to get me a grinder pump.
Okay.
And I agree. They've kicked this, obviously they've shown they don't care. They keep
That's
kicking the
pretty
can down the
obvious.
road. No, it's,
Turn the water.
guess what? It's like
Yeah.
April 15th. You either pay or you're going to start paying more. You don't pay yes, we're not doing this no more. I've been here too many times to deal with the same problem. Either fix
Okay.
it or not.
So the first step is going to be this letter, 90 days, make up your mind, we'll turn your water off. Do I have a motion to send that letter out?
Wait.
Oh,
I don't think that, I think we should do the letter, but I don't think we should have the option that the city finances anything.
okay, but that's later on down the line. This is just the letter to see what they tell, if they say, yes, we'll take care of it, or, go fish, And after that, then we can talk about
So
options.
Mayor and council, really the feedback we were hoping to get was on whether or not you wanted staff to explore any type of special assessments for the improvements. That was really the request, because at the end of the day, staff's recommendation, what we had planned to proceed with, was sending them this letter. And it does state that they will give us the triennial report, and also showing that the lift station has been repaired and is operational. Because one of the things that we all need to understand here is that if the lift station has failed and it is not working, um, I seriously doubt that a regulatory agency will allow them to continue operations.
And the other thing is, we've got two of those properties,
Or not even ours.
well, two of them are.
Yes.
That use that lift station. So we gotta deal with those two
Right.
anyway. So this is, are we gonna get those other two or not?
Right.
Could they split, one come, will go this way, one go the other? But you still have two that are gonna be dealing with the fact that that lift station not working, and we have to provide them services since they are within the city.
And if somebody has an issue with it and they want to submit something else in writing, 90 days is 3 months. We will have multiple council meetings.
So what do
Frankly,
you
if they have an
want
issue with
the
it.
council to do on this?
Our request was whether or not council wanted to provide, if council provides direction on the idea of potential special assessments or financing.
So it has nothing to do with the letter,
The request was only about,
this special assessment.
correct,
Okay.
correct.
The letter is going out.
My question is,
I mean,
devil's
that's-
in the detail.
I don't know.
The staff going to spend 1,000 hours doing this? Or is this, I don't want to invest $5,000 to assess something that's worth 10 cents. See what I'm coming from? Your staff has got a lot of other things, a lot of balls in the air. I want to make sure we're getting the best investment for our time. I don't want to spend $5,000 chasing a 10-cent answer.
Well, and at the end of the day, it's about whether or not council is comfortable or wants to provide this support. So at this point, my understanding is we haven't even gotten an answer on if they want to keep the lift station and repair it,
Okay.
or they want to go the route of the grinder pumps. But at the end of the day, as Sean mentioned, we've already reported this to the health department and DEP. It's not our lift station, so they already have a responsibility to get it up and running. And so they need to follow we're asking them to follow our code, provide us with a copy of a report showing that it's in good working order for us to continue service. That does put the burden on them so that they understand that either they need to do this or they need to choose another option, whether that be, going to Fort Walton Beach and asking them for assistance, however they would like to do it.
I have a question. Isn't there another private lift station in the city limits? Okay, so, right, so if we all of a sudden take on the responsibility of this for the ones that are in Mary Esther, I don't want to get into a situation where, okay, well, you covered their lift station and fixed their problem, so you need to fix ours. It's,
But
Well,
we're
and,
not,
and so that's why I said it's up to council if you want to entertain that. The only way staff would even bring it to you would be if the costs were being covered by the property owners and not the city. So we never are recommending any kind of, what's the term? We're not recommending subsidizing anything. It was just whether or not you wanted us to explore looking at this type of support.
well, technically, it would be subsidizing if we're financing it because it's money out the door for us if we're even doing a special assessment. It's, yeah.
It depends on how that's structured. That's why I said the key term was explored. You want us to look at doing this. And if so, would there be any stipulated requirements such as annexation? But that's entirely up to the council. We're not, that is up to the council's decision if you want to do that or not.
I'm all for a reasonable assessment, but like I say, I don't want you to spend 1,000+ hours, and I'm just using a number, that, okay, I need the 10-cent answer to match the 10-cent expense possibility. I don't want to come back and all of a sudden, and I was here one time when an engineering firm walked in and handed us a booklet this thick and said, oh, we need you to approve this tonight. That ain't happening. Because I don't know what's in that thing. So yeah, if you can reasonably do it, and I trust the staff to reasonably make the assessment, fine. I'm all for that.
What if we did nothing and find out what they choose to do?
Yeah, that would be first. Does that make sense? Everybody happy with that?
That's
Yeah.
kind of where I'm at. I'd like to see where the 90 days leads us
Yeah.
before we jump into
See
it.
what they're gonna do. This may be all discussion and they're planning on fixing it, especially with the FDEP on their back.
But as Mr. Carter said, those of us been here they're notorious for not doing, it'll go away next month. They'll forget about it. You know, it's like a puppy. It'll go, oh
And
yeah.
you turn the water off, that did remind them.
Yeah.
You know, with no water, they're probably gonna react pretty quickly, you would think. You hope.
Two in the county.
And that's why, just, to put a bow on it, that's why at the end of the day, the discussions that they're having with DEP are between them and DEP. But from our end, we really would like to get an answer as to whether or not we're going to be a part of this or not, so that we can move on one way or the other.
And if
We
it's
supply
different,
That's the
water.
purpose of the 90 days.
We supply them water. We're already a part of it.
and are you going to handle it different for the city resident versus the county resident?
They're all in one.
Yeah, they're all, but the county is not us. We don't have any responsibility to
Right.
those two houses.
I'm talking about the citizen, the resident.
Yeah. They're not paying city taxes. They're just,
No, he's talking about the resident.
oh, okay.
The one that's in the two properties in the city, are we going to move forward with the
Owned by one.
grinder pump? If everything fails with the lift station, if they're not going to do that.
I think that's the only real viable option, correct? Is the grinder pump? Because we're not gonna put another lift station down there that the
It's
city.
up to
would own.
them.
But you have two properties within the city limits that we gotta deal with regardless of what those other two properties do.
Well, could that one property annex to Port Walton as well? The ones
They'd
that
have
are
to-
ours, and, I mean, with all the building that they're doing for the RV station and the lines that they're doing, is there a possibility that
You're talking about the two that are currently
the
within.
two that are?
Yeah, you could do, there's a process to de-annex. And if they wanted to do that and the city was in agreement, you could probably do that.
I mean, because they're doing construction and infrastructure down there for that RV park.
Right.
I don't think it tag into any of that. I don't know. I mean, that's all that, but if it benefits them in that way. But right now, with the one resident that owns the two properties, who's not doing failure to maintain his property, is no different than a code situation. We need to step it up. It's been 3 years, at least 3
Yeah.
years, because it was last put in front of us in 2022, and only because it was being compared to a perfectly functioning lift station.
Does Curtis own that property?
No,
Mm-mm.
no.
Does not. That's the one with the big ditch that goes out to the water at the very end.
Mr. Nivens,
Okay, and that's two lots?
Two lots.
it's two lots. There's only one place he lives
There's only
in,
one house
Right.
off to the right, and then the other one, there used to be a house.
and he's the one who expressed interest in possibly leaving the city and just tearing it down and selling the property.
He's been wanting to sell it for a very, very long time.
That's just, yeah. just
Yeah,
what he
I mean,
said.
That's his choice as a
Oh, yeah,
homeowner.
yeah.
I mean, any more
It's
than
two
anybody.
lots.
Either way, someone would have to put sewer there
Right.
to make it
Right.
feasible.
Yeah. Okay, so what do you want to do?
I vote to see what the property owners want to do before we offer up anything.
An agreement? If they answer the letter,
See what their response is to the 90 days and then go from there.
you okay with that? Do I have a motion to hold off on, wait until we get the response for the letter? I mean, what do you want to do? Vote on it?
So it would be August, would be
Give
Okay.
9 days and then,
Yep. I say that, I'm assuming we can generate their letter that quick.
want to do that?
I guess, at least give them the benefit of the doubt.
It's a letter. See what they say. It's not going to hurt them or anything. It's just a piece of paper.
I'll second.
Okay, we got a second. Let's vote.
Oh,
You may have to type.
Okay.
yeah, he's gonna take a minute.
The motion is to wait or find out what the response is to the letter, the 90-day letter. Is that okay with the city manager? Okay, I saw a nod. How do you vote, Mr. Carter?
Concur.
Okay.
Oh, wait, oh,
Okay.
I think mine needs new batteries, by the way.
Okay. Okay, unanimous. We're gonna wait and find out their response for the 90-day letter and bring this up again at that time, and maybe we'll be happy. Maybe they'll tell us where to go. Who knows, so that'll be interesting. Moving on. Holiday closing schedule. City manager on this one, or Sean's gonna take this one?
Sounds like I'm done. Y'all have abused me enough.
No, Mayor and Council, as you know, we've typically for the week between Christmas and New Year's, we have closed city facilities. Obviously, any kind of emergencies, there are folks that are on call to handle water and sewer. Specifically, if there's some other emergency, again, we have folks that are on call to handle that. So if we were to close, it would be, we would propose at noon on Tuesday, December 23rd, and then reopen on Friday, January 2nd.
And I like this schedule a little better, especially on the terms of, and we'll bring it up, the library. Because the other ones are open the 23rd, or even some are, you just close the 24th and 25th and back open. But we do have a lot of back-to-back events leading up to the holidays that the staff does handle. And we did the tree lighting, the Santa, so that's good. So I have, all of it, yeah. So I have no issues. It's a half day on the 23rd, and then that will be the staff party as well.
Correct.
Okay, so the library will be open that Monday and half day Tuesday. And then have just basically only 4 more days closed that the other co-ops do. But they're also open more than some of the 3 days. They've stopped doing the Saturday if we're closed on a Monday. They've kind of stopped that, so that benefits the community. So I'm good with this. I'm fine with it for right now.
April, what about you?
I'm not willing to die on this hill on this one.
Okay, good answer. Bernie?
During the holidays, either I go visit more family or more family comes visits me. That to me, and that even when I was in the military, it was the same way. And Motorola General Dynamics, when I worked for a billion-dollar company, they used to do the same thing. That was a given time that everybody, now granted, the security guys still were there and some of the IT guys and stuff, but majority, they tried to, that was a benefit to let everybody go be with family during that time. So I'm all for it.
Richard? All for it. Mr. Carter, are you for it?
I'll go with the majority.
Okay. Well, then I need a motion to authorize the closing of city facilities during the holiday period beginning at noon on December 23rd, 2025, and reopening on January 2nd, 2026.
I'll make that motion.
I have a motion first,
I'll second.
and I have a second. Let's go ahead and vote. Mr. Carter, I'm assuming you're voting for it?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay, you're unanimous on that one. Okay, the next one, 11.7, consideration of city attorney rate schedule. Hayward, you want to take that?
I was gonna ask Sean to come up and do it.
Okay, John, can I do it? Okay.
Take it away, Sean. Yeah, so hopefully everyone had an opportunity to review the letter. It's just, we haven't had any increases for several years. And this is just kind of the nature of the beast. You've seen it in engineering costs, throughout the economy. So we're hopeful that this will be looked favorably upon by the city council. I'll be glad to answer any questions as it relates to that. I will advise that Valparaiso sent them almost essentially the same letter. They agreed to do it last month, and it began May 1st. Because of the way this meeting hit, I was just asking that it be retroactive to May starting May 1st, moving forward.
Any discussion on this? Okay, do I have a motion to approve this rate increase for the city attorney?
I'll
Well,
still
this
make that
rating,
motion.
You have a first? I'm sorry, Larry, what'd you say?
this rate increase will be a flat fee, no pennies on the end.
Oh, 4 cents.
No pennies. It's the first contract we ever had, no pennies.
Yeah, I'm for
Okay.
it.
All right, got a first and a second. Let's go ahead and vote. How do you vote, Mr. Carter?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. What?
Carter.
Carter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's for it. He's at a second, yeah.
Yeah. This one's-
Okay, we're unanimous on that. 11.8 is discussion of Citizen of the Year proposal. City Clerk, did you want to, you did some research on that.
Mhm.
Let me pull it up 1 second. Basically, the mayor and Councilmember Sutton approached me wanting some information about Citizen of the Year. I did some digging and asked some of the other municipalities what they do. The only one I could really find was Crestview and one other that I can't remember the name of, but they are not around us. I found out that Crestview does a plaque, a vanity license plate stating the Citizen of the Year for whatever year, in this case, like 2025, for instance. They give them a hat and then they essentially make them a VIP for event functions. So they are invited to things like employee days. They are allowed to ride on the floats for like Veterans Day. Any dinners they would be invited to attend, such as the Okaloosa League of Cities dinner. The thing I will say with that is that that cost is, they are charged for that. So the city would not be covering the cost for that.
Just real quick, yeah, that's, we were talking to Crestview and they have that. Is there any interest in having that in Mary Esther?
Mayor Stein,
Go ahead.
so I think it would be nice. We do have a lot of citizens in our community that do kind of go above and beyond in the neighborhoods. Whether it's, mowing their neighbor's lawn that may be elderly or just, making a big impact, locally. And it could be something like the Okaloosa County Status of Women, they do a nomination where they can honor different women. So, and citizens, submit their nomination. So it could be something that other citizens nominate other citizens, or it could be something that like maybe you see a citizen that's gone above and beyond that year for a neighbor or a neighborhood. But I think it'd be nice just to kind of give back to our community and our citizens, just to kind of show that special recognition for them. I mean, they don't necessarily have to come to everything like, that was listed, but maybe you could pick and choose some of the things you'd like for them to attend if they would like to.
Yeah, that's just an example. It doesn't have
Yeah.
to be what all those things.
If you want, I can work on something because it would have to be Crestview did a resolution for this, so I can bring something back in the June meeting. But
A couple questions I have. And always, the first one is, how many commas in front of the decimal point dollar signs are we talking?
No cost.
500? Well, wait a minute.
The-
Where are you getting the plaque from? Where are you getting the license plate from? I mean,
Yeah, minimal cost, but yeah, okay, I see what you're saying. Do you want to look into that? Give us some numbers? I mean,
yeah, this is strictly just what do you want to do? What do you want
Yeah.
me to do and bring back?
I mean,
So-
part of me, nothing against our resolutions, but that's a piece of paper that they take home and put in their, so I didn't, like the yard of the month. Oh, wait a minute, that's out front. Everybody can see this.
Mhm.
Same way, I'm not sure about a license plate. I might have my Alabama plate on the front of the car. I may
Yeah,
not want,
yeah.
so but I'm just trying to figure, do we want to see the individual, and I'll say individual, could be walking into Publix wearing their, I'm the Citizen of the Year baseball cap or
Yeah.
magnet or whatever. These are the things I think.
But it's
The other,
some
the other one I
recognition,
have,
yeah.
and I'm all for this, believe it or not. I've already got a name I would like to, if we decide to do this, of who this, like they named theirs after, forgive me, I forget, May Ratha Coleman Citizen of the Year. If we go this far, I have a name that I think we ought to name ours after. But
Okay.
I'm gonna wait until
Yeah, I went to it.
we see.
Start
Yeah.
on. Anything over this side? You guys interested?
I'm fine looking into
I mean,
details of it
it's
and
not
kind of.
the art of the month. I mean, it's harmless and the criteria to select is not anything definitive, that you don't have to be a member of 8 organizations. If you know, mow a old lady's yard and, help them out and you do community event, maybe that's it. It depends on the write-up for that. We'll get the write-ups and look at them, and if one shines out there, you go, okay, that's the person. But it doesn't have to be, I have check in the block. I get it right off the bat. It can be other stuff, so it's up in the air. That's what kind of Crestview does. It's a, what does this person have? Some people are better helping their citizens. Other people do, organizational stuff. They're president of the Kiwanis or something.
Well,
Okay.
and the other thing I like about it is the individual. Our police and fire do outstanding work all the time. So yeah, so let's keep it down to the individual. The
One
Knights
person.
of Columbus, the Greek Orthodox Church out. So no, we need to. I like the idea. It's an individual, one person. That,
Yeah,
not
citizen.
not that the police and fire don't do an outstanding job. Yeah,
Organization of the year, but citizen of the
right.
year.
I agree. That's what I'm saying. I'm liking it.
So is the direction to bring something back in the June meeting?
Bring something.
Okay.
Is that okay with you, Mr. Carter?
Yes, I think one of the things we should consider is one of the mayor's $2 bills.
That's a given, and that's no cost to the city. Okay? All right, great. We're good on that. Council standing committee reports and other comments. Let's start out with April.
Yeah, last week was a busy week for Mayor Stein and Councilmember Lawson. We did meet with the governor and our newest Congressman, Jimmy Petronis. So a very busy week, but I'd just like to remind the citizens that if you see something, say something, please call. We are having an increase in crime. Also, if you have an issue with the city, please call our city manager or appropriate department, like our code enforcement, because council members do not actually go and write code enforcement tickets. So please call the city hall. Thank you.
Susan?
I don't have anything.
Larry? Richard?
Saturday, I went over the library, put on the Earth Day for the kids, and I went over, and even though it's for the kids, I learned a lot, and it came off really well. Thank you.
Okay, great. I've got going on vacation a whole month, so I'm out of here.
I'm sorry, I didn't remember seeing that memo. And did we vote?
I didn't remember either.
April
Okay.
voted on it. She
Oh,
wants-
okay. So anyway,
She wants to get rid of
well,
me.
obviously, again, if I get the chance, I would love to be
You got it.
mayor pro tem once. Anyway,
Just once.
like still going on, the bases obviously are still, I'm hearing a lot of chatter on the roads. I'm still hearing a lot of chatter on housing. So that's going to be interesting to see how all that shakes out. The library cooperative, again, that's next meeting is May 28th at 2 p.m. The state is also looking at funding some more of that, their talk. We'll see how all that works out. The other thing I heard today was the legislative thing may get extended because they've got too much work to do. So instead of being the last day, they haven't done it yet, but they may extend it a week or two. So there may still maybe some bills floating that we'll see. So yeah, but that's all I got.
Okay. Hayward? You take us out to dinner on that pay raise? I don't know. Mr. Carter?
Yes, the only question I have, well, not a report, things are looking in the right direction for my daughter. Thank you for you guys' support. Also, do we have an update on the city hall?
Sean?
It's late.
Go ahead, Sean.
It-
Mine is
Sean,
well.
we need an
Might as
update on
well.
City Hall.
This is positive news, so I'll let him share it.
I'm Sean Lindsay. I'm the Director of Public Works.
We know.
Work is progressing well. They're doing some demo. They got all that done. They started to frame up the walls in the building. We're looking at, talking with a furniture guy right now, looking at audiovisual and access control and security, getting those quotes and bids out as needed. And so that's where we're at. They're pretty optimistic that they'll hopefully get finished sometime in July, maybe.
Hmm.
But I'm not going to say that, okay? That's not me, you know, but that's what they think. So hopefully that's, well, we had some good news recently. We discovered a sewer line around the outside of the building that was never used before, and that's going to save us a little bit of money, not having to put a new one to the new bathroom. And so
No
that was
grinder
good.
pump?
No grinder pump, no grinder pump needs all gravity. So everything's progressing well. There's been a couple little things happen, you know, little minor details, but nothing of alarm.
Sean,
Be quiet, Bernie.
No, I have a question. I keep getting this email from the flag company somewhere that trying to sell me flags, and it's my city email by the. We have a new, that big flagpole at behind, to me, it's behind the bank and stuff. Would we want to put a Mary Esther city flag with the logo, or
Well, we got the big sign up.
That'd be cool.
It looks nice.
I mean, and that pole sits way high. I mean,
Yeah.
that ain't a little one. I mean, this thing's gonna be way up in the air.
Like the American flag and then put underneath it.
But
That's an idea.
just like the state flag, American flag, and you go to
Yeah.
Florida, there's the Florida flag right below it.
Okay.
I just,
I think it's a
I've
great
never
idea.
responded, but I thought, okay, they
When the
keep,
time
I
comes,
probably
yeah.
weekly I get that email, you know, your municipality flag, and I'm going,
Yeah.
okay, I'm not sure. Okay, well, we don't have to do that today. We don't,
No.
I mean, it's not like, oh God,
No, we just-
but
Mayor,
Yeah, Larry, go ahead.
a question for Sean. On the design of the dais, is it gonna be high enough so I don't keep hitting my knee trying to get under it?
I hope so. I don't know how high it is off the top of my head. I'm sorry.
He needs to come take a sit.
Not-
Yeah, yeah. But I can
There's no braces, you hit your knees up.
definitely find out.
Be better than.
Thank
this.
you.
Okay,
I don't have anything tonight, Mayor. Thank you.
As always, check your mailbox, do your ethics training, do your cybersecurity training, file your financial disclosures. That is coming up, and you will get an email notification mid-May from the organization. So you can do it early, but mid-May will give you a reminder.
or wait a minute,
financial.
we have to do the Form 6?
No.
They will tell you which one to do. I don't know off the top of my head which one it is, but they will tell you which one.
They being,
The Ethics Commission.
oh, okay. So I have to reach out to them via email?
No, you should be able to go on the website and like file it, but if you haven't yet, they will send you an email that says, hey, you need to fill it out.
It's all
This is the form."
electronic.
Yes, it is all electronic.
No matter Form 1 or 6, it's electronic.
Right, I got that.
Yeah.
But I didn't
I don't
didn't
know
know if they
either. I asked
finish the
them
lawsuit.
and they didn't have an answer.
It's
I
still
would,
in play.
I guess.
Injunction is still in play.
Yeah, it is.
okay, so in May.
That is why I'm saying they're going to tell you which one to fill out,
All right.
but they'll send you a reminder in the middle of the month. I'm going to be out of town May 18th through the 23rd. I will be going to the IIMC conference in St. Louis. I will respond to emails when I can, but if you need me, please try not to. As well as on the 22nd, I will be taking a personal day there, so I will not be taking emails that day. And
Are you turning 50 also?
no, I still got a couple
You
good
just
years
made
to
that
me.
public record.
50 or
Everyone
15,
And his
okay.
brother now knows the day and year, but that's fine.
I got nothing to hide.
Okay, city manager, when's your birthday?
Okay.
I'm going to get the milestone. Scottsdale Drive was reopened today, so there's still some work to do, but at least the road is open. So
Speed will pick it.
that's it. I don't have anything else.
Okay, anybody else? Anybody else? We're adjourned.
I see you sneaking off.
Very sweet to let him say he be up there for you and stuff. Cause I went, wait a minute, what?